Okay, in the previous video, I showed you how to add a paid event as a product in the commerce section of the site, in that inventory section of commerce. And now I'm going to show you how to not necessarily add the event, because you know how to do that, but how to input some of the content in specific areas of the paid event within the event module. Okay, so we've added this event. And for non-paid events, we are only inputting content into this excerpt field. But as I mentioned in the previous video, we are going to use this main content area. And the reason is because only in this main content area can we add things like buttons and, well, really any other kind of content block that we'd want to add. And we can't do that in the excerpt area. So in this case, I want to add a couple of registration buttons, and I already have two in. I've got one right below the pertinent information. I think it's a good idea to do that, and I also think it's a good idea, especially when you have a longer description, to put one in at the bottom as well. So to add these particular product buttons, you're going to just click to open up your content blocks panel, and instead of a regular button, we're going to do a product content block. So if I click product, it's going to ask me to find, okay, well, what product do you want to put in here? And this is the reason why we want to name, I mentioned in the earlier video, why we wanted to name the product something human readable. And we put in, I called it the second annual. And really, if you just remember the first few letters of the product name, it will come up in the drop down. So I'm going to choose that button. And for this button, I really just want to show the button itself. I don't need to show the image, so I'm going to turn that off. I don't need to show the title. I'm going to turn that off. I don't need to even show the price. So all of those things, you can see how they disappear when you uncheck those boxes. I just really want to show the Add to Cart button. And in that particular event module, the cart button, the wording on the button was changed to register and pay. So you have that option to customize what the button language is. Excuse me. Okay, so that's really all that needs to get done there, and then you just hit apply, and there's your button, and then you can just repeat that at the bottom. So in this case, we already have those in. So I'm just going to delete that block, and I'll just save it. Well, in this case, it's already saved. So the other thing we have to do is add a link from the excerpt, the bottom of the excerpt, so that it will link to the full description. And let me just show you real quick. I'm going to cancel because I'm not saving any of those changes. How that works. Okay, so let's go to our main events landing page. Here is that event. Now, I can't, because in that excerpt field, these are all of these events are only showing information in the excerpt field, and there's really no way for me to put the registration button, plus I have a lot more to say about this event. So here's that link, and then if I click that, it's going to open up to the full description of the event with those register and pay buttons there. So that's what we're trying to do, and then I have a way to get back to all the events. Or go back there. Okay, so let me see if I can get out of this screen. Okay, so let me go back to the pages, down to the not linked, down to events, and back in to this page. And to add that link, I'm going to add whatever text you want to put down there. And then I'm actually linking, and I'll show you by hitting the edit button, I'm actually linking to the full page URL of that full page display. So again, you're going to want to name this page something human readable. Just click the option, or scroll back up here. So I named it the EE-Forum 2018, so it's human readable. And then here I want to link to basically this whole page, but the full version of that page. So to show you there, so I put the full URL in. Sometimes what you need to do when you're in the admin view of your website is you actually just need to pull up a second browser page and plug in the main URL for your site rather than like, you know, squarespace.com. Just plug in this case, cultureseed.org. And then I know it's in this events. There's the rest of my URL string, and just manually enter that into a browser window, and that will confirm that you've got the correct page, and then copy and paste that whole URL string into here. And that's it. So I'm going to cancel out of there. And then that should be everything you need to do for setting up paid events and connecting to the registration payment portal.